There was also a lot of depression in the EverQuest community. It was something I suffered with, but a lot of people, anytime you're feeling sad or down, you're looking for escape. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the great things video games brings us is escapism.
Mm-hmm.
And escapism isn't always bad or negative,
Mm-hmm.
but when you sort of abuse it to escape your real life problems, it's bad and negative.
So there's a mix of pain and darkness that pain can manifest as all
Yeah.
part of this community.
Yeah. And what's weird is you enter the cycle where being with the other people gives you camaraderie and relief and makes you feel like you're not doing so bad in life. But you can quickly enter a cycle but then you're withdrawing from life and it makes you feel that way more to where you can only get the fix from the game at that point. So it's psychologically, there's a lot going on there.
And so you had to work with all of that. You have to get a bunch of people together to do a raid who are all human beings going through complicated psychological journeys of their own. Some are talking shit. Some are just quietly lonely, just looking for some loot.
In the late 90s, everyone was talking shit. You know what I mean? Like, the gaming culture was just a different thing back then. But it was a great group. It was super fun. It was people from all walks of life. And to coordinate these people, like, you just had to repeat everything like 200 times. Like, okay, we're gonna port from North Row. Everybody get to North Row. And then you'd have to repeat that for like 6 hours
Mhm.
to have any chance of like 20% of the people showing up in North Row. And I sort of like, at first I joined the guild, I was just like the bright-eyed, bushy-tail, like I was like one of the few rogues in the guild. I just wanted to be helpful. I really admired the people running the guild. Like, we had a great guild leader. And it was just a really fun experience. And, the guild leader one day just disappeared. Like, he quit and he was going through, his own thing. And that's what would happen in EverQuest. Like, people would just kind of disappear all of a sudden. There wasn't hey, in about a month, I'm going to stop playing because I'm starting this new job. People had to quit in some dramatic way where they just disappear. And basically our guild leader stopped playing.
Did you miss them when they disappeared? Like, we should say that most of the people, maybe all of them, were anonymous. So you just have a
Yes.
username and you don't really say who you are in real life.
Absolutely. In those days, there was a great stigma to mentioning any real life info. You just kind of kept it all really close to your chest, and you never knew who was male or female.
Yeah.
You kind of assumed everybody was male,
Safe assumption.
and then it was a surprise if they were actually female.
Yeah.
Like my wife, for example. That's how I met her.
You met her in EverQuest.
I met her in EverQuest.
That is a true love story right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Wow.
The funny part for me with EverQuest is, you play a game as much as I played EverQuest, and people are like, "You threw years of your life away. Like, you can't win a game like that." And I'm like, I don't know. Like, sitting here today, my whole career and my family are thanks to EverQuest. So I think I won the game.
Yeah. You're like the well actually guy. Well,
Well, yeah, exactly.
your life, it will be on a Wikipedia page somewhere that says, well, here's an example of somebody
Yeah.
why video games are awesome. Yeah, I mean, some of I should mention as an aside, for me and many people I know, yes, it's hundreds of hours, but some of the happiest hours and days of my life, like looking back, it all worked out. During it, you are pretty low and you think, what am I doing with my life? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But like looking back, just all-nighters you pull playing a particular video game, allowing yourself to really fully be immersed, seeing the sun come up on, by the way, many of those games for me were Blizzard games. It's just an incredible thing that video games have been able to do. I think, it used to be, and still somewhat the case that books do that kind of same thing. They
Yeah.
take you on a journey, but video games for a long time, you're right, they had a stigma. Like, I couldn't tell people. I felt like I was doing, like, heroin or something. Like,
Yeah.
I felt like I was doing this secret dark thing. It's usually in the it usually is in the dark. There's just this secretive nature to it, like I'm doing something really dark and shady.
It wasn't mainstream.
It wasn't.
It wasn't there was a stigma to it, and one of the weirdest parts of that is, I mentioned, like, you could type in the /played in EverQuest. Well, if you did the /played on how much TV people watch, what would that look like? It would blow
Yeah.
6,000 hours out of the water easily. Well, it in 20 years ago, it would have, not today.
Now it's the phone. Yeah. Yeah. But then, it is, hard to say goodbye to that world.
Yeah,
Those are also really painful times. How hard is it to say goodbye for you?
to EverQuest, it was really hard. And there were times where you try to quit.
Oh, you took a break sometimes?
Yeah, you think you're quitting for good. You'd have those moments of like, I'm doing this too much. I need to move on in life. I'm going to put it down and walk away and hopefully not come back. And there were times where you did come back. When I finally did leave EverQuest, it was actually extremely easy because I was psychologically done with the game at the time. Um, it was not shortly, but not too long after a new expansion had come out. At the time, it was Shadows of Lucklin,
Mhm.
which didn't speak to me like the expansions before. Like the one before that was called Scars of Velios, which was an amazing expansion. And I had gotten the job at Blizzard. And I guess I'm just an obsessive person. So all the time and energy that I had put into EverQuest, the second, the second my first minute started at Blizzard, that was my new obsession.